Hey, good Thursday morning. Thursday morning coming to you live from the sanctuary here at St. Luke's United Methodist Church. Chris Montree is behind me. So I want to share with you some conversations that I've had with folks through Facebook Messenger, people that reach out to me. And what I'm discovering is that more and more people are watching these devotions. More and more people are joining us on Sunday morning on Facebook Live. And these folks that are joining us have reached out because they were letting me know their experience. They've had bad experiences in churches. They've been treated horribly by people who profess to be followers of Jesus. They've been turned away because maybe their clothes isn't as nice as the people in the church expect. Some folks have been turned away because of family reputation. Some folks have been turned away because of the behavior of the people in the church. They see God, they hear gossip, they see it happening. They see factions, those cliques that are always in every organization, whether it's religious or not. They see jealousy, and they see these things and they walk away from the faith because they're looking for the evidence of Jesus. And here we are, Advent 2022, getting ready to celebrate the birth of Christ and entering a new year. And the world is still searching for Jesus. In the book of, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, Jesus says you'll recognize his followers by the fruits that they bear, And listening to people who have walked away from the church. Notice I said they walked away from the church. They didn't walk away from Jesus, but they walked away from the people who profess to be followers of Jesus. Why? Well, in the book of Galatians, Paul's writing to the church, and he's telling the church that there are two different, fruits basically that we bear. And one of them is the works of the flesh, and the other one's the fruits of the Spirit. The works of the flesh is what I'm hearing described by people who walked away from church. This is what Paul writes. The works of the flesh are sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery. I know you're saying, what's debauchery? Well, extreme sensual indulgence. That's what it means. Think about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Take out the rock and roll part, but it's sex and drugs. That's debauchery. Idolatry. And that is putting other things before God. We have idols in our world today. We have idols in our churches. Think of the music. Sometimes I think people worship the idol of music more than they do the person of Jesus. We idolize politicians. We idolize celebrities. We idolize athletes. We put people and things above God. And we wonder why our nation is in trouble. We wonder why churches are failing. Well, idolatry is one of the works of the flesh. Enmities. You're probably saying, what's enmity mean? Well, being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. And if you don't think that is happening, just think of the politics in our country, in our churches. I know a lot of folks, and I've watched a lot of folks on social media who profess to be followers of Jesus, but let me tell you something. As the moment that somebody speaks out about voting for someone different than who they voted for, that enmity arises immediately, being actively opposed or hostile. Yeah. That's the work of the flesh, friends. That's not the fruit of the Spirit. And Paul's warning the church and the people of the church to walk away from these things. It continues. Strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels. Yeah, we see that a lot too, don't we? dissensions, and that's disagreements that leads to discord. And we have that in every organization, not just church organizations. Factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing. And then finally, Paul just gives up and he's like, you know what? And things like these. He doesn't even continue his list. He just says things like these. These are the works of the flesh. And he's telling the people who profess to be followers of Jesus to give up these things, get away from these things, because the world is watching. And he said, instead, by contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is this. Now listen to this. I love the list because this list is so important. The first thing he writes is love. And remember in 1 Corinthians 13, Paul says these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. And the Bible tells us that God is love. And so Paul says to the church of Galatians, after talking about the works of the flesh, by contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love. And then the next one is joy. Oh my goodness, we need joy in our world. We sing at Christmas time, joy to the world. But oftentimes our face as followers of Jesus don't reflect joy. I know life is hard. I know life is difficult. But let's let love and joy and peace, patience, that's something that we need here in 2022, especially around the holiday season. Patience. It can be difficult. But you know what? This is a fruit of the Spirit: kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. And Paul says there is no law against such things. I know this devotion's a little longer today, but I just want to share that we need to practice what Jesus mentioned in Matthew chapter 7. He says, you'll know them by their fruits. And I pray that the fruit that we bear in 2022 will point people to Jesus. Hey folks, this is Pastor Bill from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, Harrisville, West Virginia, Ritchie County, West Virginia. Wherever you are, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, and I hope you're safe. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless.